What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, we're going to go over why NIO has been pulling back so much in this past week. And we're also going to cover a different stock that people are actually buying in exchange for NIO. But before we actually jump into the video, for those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos showing you guys different ways of making money in the stock market. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it, and it lets me know that you guys enjoy these video updates every day. But like I mentioned, NIO's been pulling back a decent bit in the past week, and actually today they're down over 5% and they're trading right around $54. Now we haven't seen $54 from NIO for quite a few weeks here. And this is especially exaggerated when we look at the 1 week chart, and you can see that NIO is down 10% on the week. And again, it's not very often that NIO sees these big red weeks where they're pulling back 10 to 15%. Now it has happened a couple times in the past, and there has been some weeks where NIO's pulled back a decent amount. But at least in my opinion, as long as you guys believe in NIO, these are the times where you want to add more shares, especially if you think NIO is worth more than $54. Now you guys know that I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't advise you guys to invest in NIO, but especially if you guys have a relatively high share price, that's personally what I would do to bring down your average share cost. Because like I mentioned, there's not many weeks where we see a 10% loss from NIO's share price. And especially if you do believe in them long term, it might not be a bad time to beef up your position. But as I was saying in the intro, there's actually another stock a lot of NIO investors are buying in exchange for NIO, and that's actually Churchill Capital. Now I'm sure most of you guys know that I've made a couple videos on Churchill and on Lucid Motors, but this is one of those stocks where there's a lot of anticipation leading up to a merger between Churchill and between Lucid Motors. And a couple days ago, there was actually an announcement that somewhat verified that a merger could potentially happen, and it looks like there's very good odds that it's going to happen at some point in the near future. But if we actually look at Churchill's price today, they're actually up over 10% and they're climbing up towards $62 a share. And like we looked at the 1 week chart on NIO, on the 1 week for Churchill, you can see they're up over 76% in a single week. And of course, this is all anticipation leading up to a potential merger, and people are trying to get into the next Tesla or even the next NIO because we saw a huge amount of gains from NIO in 2020 alone. And they also started off 2021 on a strong note with their NIO Day event, but people are buying into Churchill hoping to get into Lucid before they explode like NIO and Tesla have. But going back to NIO, you guys might be wondering why they're trading down today, and this is actually due to a broad market sell-off in the electric vehicle sector. NIO hasn't been the only one affected today, and a couple other rivals including XPeng and Li Auto saw some losses today as well, and XPeng was down about 5% as of late morning trading, but there really wasn't any obvious news triggering this sell-off in the electric vehicle market. But if you're an investor in electric companies or in auto companies, you probably know that this sort of thing happens sometimes out of the blue and really with no reason as to why there's a sell-off. But there are a couple reasons that could be affecting this, and one of them does have to do with Elon Musk. But before we touch on that and how Elon Musk has actually been affecting the electric vehicle sector, not only Tesla, but how that's been trickling over into NIO and other electric vehicle stocks as well, I first want to mention that if you're investing in NIO, things are still looking up, and even though NIO is consolidating and even pulling back a slight amount, sales were good in January, and they actually set a new record high if you guys weren't aware of that. And they also have their new sedan models on the way, and they're hopefully going to be producing them by the end of 2021. Now there are talks that they're going to release them in early 2022, but there's also rumors that the ET7 could be on the market by the end of 2021. And then another thing to look forward to is NIO's fourth quarter earnings and their full 2020 earnings report, which is going to be during market close on March 1st. So definitely something to look forward to. And if those numbers are positive and they exceed what analysts predicted, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see NIO react very positively to that news. At least that's how it's been in the past. And as long as NIO has hit or exceeded analyst predictions, most times we've seen NIO's share price react positively. So again, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen this time around as well. And then like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, a lot of people are actually exchanging their shares of NIO for Churchill Capital. And this is speculation betting on the merger between Lucid Motors and Churchill Capital. And I don't think it's really any coincidence that earlier this morning NIO was down about 7% while Churchill Capital was up 7%. Now, of course, those don't go hand in hand because there's definitely a different amount of volume for NIO versus Churchill Capital. But looking at the trend over the past week and looking at how NIO has been consistently going down and Churchill Capital has actually been going up quite a substantial amount, I think it's pretty obvious to see that a lot of people are actually selling out of NIO and securing a lot of the gains that they've seen in the past few months. Now a lot of investors are moving on to the next stock that they think can move up like NIO's seen in the last few months. And I think I should also point out the fact that as a stock continues to go down, a lot more people start taking profits, concerned that the stock may continue going down and drop even more. So with NIO hitting a new all-time high early on in January, and since then they've seen this relatively downwards trend, well, it makes sense that people are consistently taking profits off the table, concerned that NIO is going to continue dropping. Now there's also another driving factor that could be affecting NIO and these other electric vehicle stocks, and this actually has to do with oil prices and fossil fuels. And with the deep freeze that we've seen in the southern US, a lot of people are pointing to the fact that fossil fuels are likely going to remain essential for quite a long time to come. And so that's somewhat hindered what people think about electric vehicle stocks, because a lot of people know that they're going to be the vehicles of the future. But with this deep freeze in the southern US, it shows that using fossil fuels right now are pretty essential, especially when wind-based power stations go down and you can't rely on them for power. Now, while the blame for these blackouts cannot solely be put on wind farms failing to function, the whole narrative emerging from Texas is that oil is underestimated, and that gives a boost to legacy vehicles and gas-powered vehicles, and it really does diminish the appeal towards electric vehicles. Because if people think we're going to be using fossil fuels and gas-powered vehicles for an extended period of time into the future, it really does bring down the appeal towards electric vehicles. Now, like I mentioned earlier, one other thing affecting the electric vehicle sector, not only just Tesla and NIO, but the sector as a whole, is actually Elon Musk. And it seems like he's losing some of his magical touch and impact, and he's actually no longer the richest person in the world, because this title returned to Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder, and the majority of this is because Tesla stock has seen a very drastic downpull. And of course, when Tesla goes down, the entire electric vehicle sector is affected in a very similar way. It seems as though Tesla kind of determines where the electric vehicle sector goes. And so if Tesla's been having a down month, well, the entire electric vehicle sector is going to react the same way. And then another thing is that Elon Musk actually invested in Bitcoin recently, and he put about $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. Now, this somewhat hurt his reputation as somebody who's all for green energy and using electric vehicles to get rid of all these emissions. Because for those who don't know, cryptocurrency is actually mined, and it has to use a lot of electricity, and most of the time it's being mined through different avenues that aren't renewable energy. And so this somewhat does hurt Elon Musk's reputation, and because Elon leads Tesla, that therefore trickles over to Tesla, and then that affects all these other electric vehicle stocks like NIO. And then again, going back to Churchill Capital's share price, they've actually been going up through all this chaos in the electric vehicle sector, and part of that is because they're not directly tied to an electric vehicle company. As of right now, they're just a blank check company, and their goal is just to raise money to bring a company public. Now, I'm sure most of you guys know how a SPAC, or a special purpose acquisition company, works, but that's really their entire goal, is just to raise money, and then hopefully at some point in the near future they can merge with Lucid Motors and bring Lucid public. Now, whether Lucid is going to react the same way once they're actually public, that's kind of a question that's left up in the air, because of course we've seen Churchill's share price react very positively in the last month, especially with all this news of a potential merger. But once that merger goes through, it's hard to say if Lucid is going to continue on that upwards trend, or if they're going to pull back like we've seen from Tesla and NIO and a couple other electric vehicle stocks. And like I mentioned earlier, if you guys are actually holding NIO, I wouldn't be too concerned about what's happening right now, because the best bet is that we're going to see developments related to their sales, and hopefully their February sales are even higher than January, even though February is a shorter month. And then if that is the case and NIO delivers even more vehicles than they did in January, more than likely their stock price is going to continue going up. That combined with the fact that on March 1st we're going to see their earnings and what numbers they reported for last year, it's kind of a 2-in-1 because we get both of those things in early March. We get both their numbers for February as well as their numbers for 2020. And as long as those numbers are both positive, I think we're going to see that reflected in NIO's share price. And then this current pullback that we've been seeing the last couple of weeks is going to look like it was a good buying opportunity that a lot of people probably missed out on because they didn't want to get in as NIO's dropping. But like anybody knows, you don't want to invest and buy at the top and sell at the bottom. You want to do exactly the opposite. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you guys are long-term believers in NIO, this should be the time to add more shares and beef up your position and possibly lower your average share cost. But for those of you who made it this far into the video, I want to hear what you guys are doing in terms of NIO versus Churchill Capital, and if you guys own shares of both or if you guys just own one over the other. So let me know if you guys own shares of NIO or Churchill or both down in the comments. Also, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you guys sign up using the link in the description. And when you sign up and deposit $100, you'll actually get 2 free stocks just for signing up and depositing $100. So make sure you guys don't miss out on these free stocks while they still last. And if you guys want to join the Discord, make sure you guys join using the link in the description, or you can also use the top pinned comment down in the comment section. And that's great if you guys are new to investing or you just want to learn more or have somewhere to talk among like-minded people about investing. So again, feel free to join if you guys want to. And if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.